Every 24 seconds, a violent crime occurs somewhere in America. But some cities, they're playing an entirely different game of risk. These are places where danger isn't just a possibility, it's daily life. In these urban battlegrounds, residents face violence at rates 5 times higher than the national average. Police sirens serve as the background noise of daily life. In these communities, caution isn't just advice, it's survival. And here's why this matters to you. Whether you live there, visit, or are considering a move, understanding these crime patterns helps you stay informed, protect your family, and avoid risky areas. Is your hometown on America's most dangerous list for 2025? Let's count down the top 10 cities where crime rates tell a story that local officials would rather you didn't hear. Before we dive in, let's make one thing clear. This list isn't based on opinions or headlines. We're ranking these cities by violent crime rates per 100,000 residents, the most objective way to measure how likely you are to become a victim. These are the numbers talking, not just the headlines. The data presented is based on publicly available crime reports, FBI statistics, and verified local sources. And no, this isn't about fear-mongering. It's about awareness. Because understanding where and why crime happens isn't just useful, it's powerful. It helps communities push for real change. It helps visitors and locals stay smart, stay safe, and stay alive. Each of these cities has its own unique story and challenges. From economic struggles to gang violence, from failed policies to understaffed police departments. And even in these so-called danger zones, most neighborhoods remain relatively safe. And if you think it's just big cities with bad reputations, think again. Some of these places may surprise you. So let's begin our countdown of America's most dangerous cities in 2025. Number 10. Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama is the largest city in the Yellowhammer State and one with a complicated relationship with crime. Birmingham's violent crime rate consistently surpasses the national average. Assault and robbery are particularly problematic. While exact numbers for 2025 are still being finalized, the trend places Birmingham firmly in America's top 10 most dangerous cities. What's driving Birmingham's crime problem? A perfect storm of economic disparities, limited access to quality education, and strained community police relations. In some neighborhoods, poverty rates exceed 30%, creating breeding grounds for desperation. As one local resident put it, Birmingham's like two different cities, one that's revitalized and thriving, and another that's been left behind and forgotten. City officials point to recent investments in community policing and youth programs. But change doesn't happen overnight in a city with such deep-rooted challenges. Number 9. Oakland, California. Next, we head to the West Coast, Oakland, California, where the violent crime rate sits at approximately 1,271 per 100,000 residents. The city reports roughly 78 homicides annually. But it's the high rates of aggravated assaults and robberies that push Oakland into our top 10. Gang activity and drug-related crimes remain significant challenges. Unlike some cities on our list, Oakland's problems stem less from overall economic decline and more from extreme inequality. The tech boom that transformed the Bay Area left many Oakland neighborhoods behind, creating stark socioeconomic disparities right across the street from each other. As one Oakland police officer put it, "We're dealing with the consequences of housing instability and historical underinvestment. When people can't afford to live where they've always lived, community bonds break down." Despite these challenges, several Oakland neighborhoods have seen crime reductions through community-led initiatives. Proof that local action can make a difference. Number 8. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio sees a violent crime rate of 1,614 per 100,000 residents. The city's homicide rate of 39.9 per 100,000 is especially troubling. Downtown Cleveland and East Side areas experience elevated levels of violent assaults and robberies. They create no-go zones after dark for many residents. Cleveland's story is one of economic decline. Once a manufacturing powerhouse, the city has struggled with the loss of industrial jobs for decades. High unemployment rates and challenges in community policing have created a perfect storm for crime. As one Cleveland community activist said, "When factories closed, hope closed with them. We're still figuring out how to rebuild both." The city has launched several initiatives to combat crime, including expanded community policing and youth opportunity programs. Early indicators show promise in some neighborhoods, but Cleveland's journey to safety remains an uphill battle. Number 7. New Orleans, Louisiana. Number 7 brings us to the Big Easy, New Orleans, Louisiana, with a violent crime rate of 1,444 per 100,000 residents. There's actually some good news. New Orleans has seen a 20% year-over-year decrease in violent crime in 2025. But that improvement still keeps the city firmly in America's top 10 most dangerous places. The city's crime challenges stem from historical issues with gang violence, economic disparities, and complicated law enforcement practices. Tourism creates an unusual dynamic. Certain areas receive heavy police presence, while residential neighborhoods go underprotected. As one local business owner put it, "In New Orleans, we've got two cities, the one tourists see and the one where the rest of us live. Guess which one gets more police?" City officials credit new intervention programs and improved police-community relations for the recent crime reduction, potentially offering a model for other cities on our list. Number 6. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, has a violent crime rate of 1,438 per 100,000 residents. Milwaukee presents mixed signals. Overall, crime is down 12% through the first quarter of 2025, an impressive improvement. However, homicides have slightly increased compared to 2024, preventing the city from dropping off our dangerous cities list. Milwaukee's crime challenges are deeply rooted in persistent socioeconomic issues. The city remains one of America's most segregated, with poverty and unemployment concentrated in specific neighborhoods. A Milwaukee community leader noted, "If you laid Milwaukee's poverty map over its crime map, you'd barely notice a difference." That's no coincidence. That's cause and effect. The city's expanded violence interruption programs show promise. They focus on treating crime as a public health issue, rather than solely a law enforcement problem. And if you're surprised by who's here, just wait. The next cities are where the numbers truly spike. Number 5. Little Rock, Arkansas. Halfway through our countdown is Little Rock, Arkansas, with a violent crime rate of 1,634 per 100,000 residents. This mid-sized city might surprise some viewers with its high ranking, but Little Rock has struggled with elevated crime rates for years, particularly with assault and robbery. The causes? A familiar mix of economic challenges, limited access to education and employment opportunities, and persistent gang activity. In certain neighborhoods, these factors create crime rates that rival much larger cities. As one local police sergeant put it, "People ask why a city our size has big city crime problems. The answer is, we have big city poverty problems with fewer resources to address them." Little Rock has launched targeted initiatives in high-crime areas, including expanded community centers and youth employment programs, but meaningful change remains elusive. Number 4. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan remains synonymous with urban struggle in America. There is some significant improvement. In 2024, Detroit saw 203 homicides, a 19% drop from 2023 and the fewest homicides since 1965. But despite this progress, Detroit remains one of America's most dangerous major cities. Detroit's story is inseparable from its economic history. The collapse of the auto industry devastated the city's tax base and population. It left behind abandoned neighborhoods where crime flourished. High unemployment and law enforcement challenges continue to plague the city. A Detroit community organizer observed, "When a city loses half its population, it doesn't just lose people. It loses the social fabric that prevents crime." The revitalization of downtown Detroit provides hope. but the benefits have yet to reach many residential neighborhoods where violent crime remains a daily concern. Number 3. Baltimore, Maryland. Breaking into our top 3 is Baltimore, Maryland. Like Detroit, Baltimore shows signs of improvement. In 2024, the city recorded 201 homicides, a 12% decrease from 2023, and the lowest homicide rate in nearly 15 years. But this progress isn't enough to move Baltimore out of America's crime danger zone. Baltimore's challenges stem from drug-related violence, economic disparities, and long-strained community police relations that came to national attention following the death of Freddie Gray in 2015. As one Baltimore City councilman put it, "We're making progress. But healing decades of distrust between communities and police takes more than policy changes. It takes time." Baltimore's crime reduction strategy focuses on targeting violent offenders while investing in community programs, an approach that appears to be yielding slow but promising results. Number 2. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis presents another silver lining in an otherwise dark cloud of crime statistics. Overall, major violent crime is nearly 9% lower between January and March 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. Still, it's not enough to keep Memphis from claiming our number 2 spot. The city's crime challenges stem from high poverty rates, entrenched gang activity, and ongoing challenges in law enforcement. In some neighborhoods, generational poverty leaves few economic options outside of crime. A Memphis police captain stated, "We're fighting against economic conditions as much as we're fighting crime itself. You can't arrest your way out of these problems." Memphis has launched several innovative crime prevention initiatives, including expanded youth services and community intervention teams. They work to interrupt cycles of retaliatory violence. Number 1. St. Louis, Missouri. Our number 1 most dangerous city in America for 2025 is St. Louis, Missouri. Despite seeing improvements, St. Louis remains at the top of America's violent crime rankings. As of May 20, 2025, the city had recorded 49 homicides, down 45% year-to-date compared to 2024. Still, it represents an extraordinarily high rate for a city of its size. St. Louis faces a perfect storm of crime factors: economic decline, high poverty rates, and ongoing challenges in community policing. The city's decline mirrors the Rust Belt story. As manufacturing jobs disappeared, social stability went with them. A St. Louis community advocate noted, "Our city is literally divided by Delmar Boulevard. North of it, life expectancy drops by 18 years. That's not just about crime, it's about systemic inequality." Officials point to new violence interruption programs and targeted enforcement efforts showing early promise. But St. Louis's journey to safety clearly has a long way to go. What can we learn from America's most dangerous cities in 2025? First, there's reason for optimism. Most cities on our list are seeing crime reductions compared to previous years. Community-based solutions paired with smart policing appear to be making a difference. Second, the connection between economic opportunity and crime remains clear. Every city on this list struggles with concentrated poverty, limited job opportunities, and educational challenges. If you're concerned about safety, you're not alone. Here are some smart steps you can take. Research neighborhoods before you travel. A quick online check can help you avoid dangerous areas. Stay alert, especially at night. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Stick with a group when you're in high-risk areas. Support the people making a difference. Community organizations are often the front line in the fight to reduce violence and need all the help they can get. We want to hear from you. Have you lived in any of these cities? What was your experience? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button. Share with friends and family who might be visiting these cities. And subscribe for more videos on urban issues and public safety in America. Stay safe out there.